Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon through our Microsoft Teams meeting. This is in regard of our new development portal. We are excited to share with you what the city has done. I need to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. And so let's start. This is the third meeting that we have hosted. The two previous meetings went in person here at City Hall, and now we are giving the opportunity for those of you that do not have the opportunity to be here in City Hall. You can see what this development portal is going to be able to do for you. We will start as we're on our website. What are you going to be finding the link to going through this development portal? I remind everyone that this portal hasn't gone live. It goes live on April 22nd. So the page that you're seeing in front of you, it has the location where it's going to be located at. If you see the web tools portion of it, just imagine a little house at the end of that column that will show and we will be called development portal. You will click then there and it will take you directly to this centralized dashboard that is going to make your life better and also is going to give you the ability to submit projects, ask for an application, view permits, even schedule inspections. So let's go there. First of all, with us is Tyler Eaton from the planning department. I also have Lori. She's our software engineer and the creator of this portal. And with me is also Andre. He will be also showing the portion for building and safety. This portal is not a software development software. It is actually the efforts and many hours of the city staff that has put after receiving your feedback. And we wanted to have a way for us to be more streamlining, more transparent, and have a way to show you how to manage your projects. So this is how it looks. The page shows 6 tiles. How this presentation will go. We will go through each one of the tiles. Tyler will start with the planning tile. He will go through the features that the planning tile will allow you to do. Then Andre will take the building and safety tile and show you how the submit an application, plan check submittals. And then we were going to spend a lot of the time on their projects, because this is going to be the critical and possibly the one that a lot of you are going to utilize to better understand where your project is at, the status of the plans. And so we are excited to show you what each one of the tiles look like. Then at the end of the presentation, we'll go through building permits, building inspections, and requests for public documents. So I'll pass now the presentation to Tyler.
Great. Thanks, Yolanda. So real quick before we get into it, as if you guys used our current system, planning and building safety had their own web pages in which they had their own portals. Now all of the development is essentially under this one portal. So it's kind of your one-stop shop for all things development in the city, which is good. You guys will know where to go rather than having to go back and forth between planning and building. But once you're kind of in the hub of the development portal, if you want to submit a planning application for the first time, you haven't submitted anything yet, you're going to start with the new application in the planning tile there. Is a I am not a robot feature, so we make sure you're a real person. It's going to ask you for the project address. In this case, we're going to do City Hall 23825, Stewart Ranch Road. And It'll have you produce a brief project description of the proposed scope. So we'd ask you to put that in here. And there's a little box there for accessory dwelling units. We do have to track these for state related purposes. So we do ask if you do have an ADU that you click the box here. It helps us easily track. We can still track them on the back end if you don't, but this helps us kind of get ahead of the game. So that's it. Once you put the address, the project description, you go forward, you're going to select your name. The good thing about this system is if you're a frequent user, your information will already be there. So it's a lot easier than having to type it in every time. It's going to have you put in your email. And then the payer, it may be the same as the applicant. Sometimes the homeowner might be the payer, so you might need to put in the homeowner's information here. But if it's the same, you can check that box. And then once you get here, it's going to be a review of everything you just typed in, the type of project, project description, the address, and the applicant and payer information. If everything looks good, you can check done. And then you're going to see this little thank you.
Let me get off this Teams meeting, and I'll find it and I'll send it.
Sorry, might need to mute someone there. But once you get to this point here, basically you're done. It's a confirmation with a confirmation number. You also get an email confirmation as well. And then from that email, someone from our staff will be reach out to you for the next steps. Another feature about the planning, once you've started an application, you can do a revised submittal.
Call you back if you don't mind.
Some of you might be familiar with that revised submittal process. So, you started an application, you received your first round of comments. So now you're going to submit a revision to those comments, addressing everything. So we're going to go revise submittal there. It's going to be very similar to what you just saw in the new application process. Select your address. The good thing about this one is it's going to have you select a project that's already in the system for that address. So it'll know which project you're going to be resubmitting to. And there's a nice easy drop down. Once you start typing in the address numbers, you'll see the address numbers related to, or the street numbers related. Should be a drop down. There it is. Okay, ACDPA related to 28926 Boniface. So if that's the project you're resubmitting to, you check that. Again, we're going to ask if you are submitting an ADU, and then you click next if no, if yes. It's going to have you input your email to make sure we get the right contact information. And then at the very end, it's similar to what you saw before. You're just going to make sure everything looks good. And if everything looks good, you can click done.
Yes, before we click done, as you see, there's simple steps for you to submit the application. It's a pre-submittal type of application. So when you're doing this, know that the application, it is not completely reviewed or processed by planning.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Yolanda. So there is a user at the end of this. So it's not like AI driven. So you'll get a confirmation when you do a new submittal or revised submittal, but someone will be in contact with you within the next few days. So just keep that in mind. You'll get an automatic email that we've received your pre-submittal, but it may not be formally submitted until you've submitted all the proper documents and fees. So just keep that in mind as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to the new submittal. And the last thing for planning before I pass it off to Andre is we also have substantial conformance tab. So some of you are familiar with that process. If you've already received a planning entitlement, a planning approval, you're in the building phase and there's a minor change that you need to come back to planning for, we have our substantial conformance tab as well. So we can quickly click through that. Very similar to what you saw for new and revised. And as you see, building is also very similar. So we try to keep the interfaces similar for the user so that once you guys know our system, it's very easy to navigate. It's going to have you pick the project that you're submitting substantial conformance for, and a description of the changes, which is important. It lets us know exactly what is the changes to what has been approved. Same thing, submit your name and email information. And then another, if you the payer is the same, or if it's going to be the owner, we're going to make sure everything looks good. And everything looks good. So we're going to click done.
Okay. Listen.
And then that's it for the planning side of things. From here, I'll pass it off to Andre.
Thank you, Tyler. So after you've received your planning approval and you've submitted their applications, they've given you the okay to move to building safety plan check. You'll want to look at that third tile on the right, the building safety tile. And under that tile, we have 3 different descriptions of what is possible to do here. The top one being new application. If we click on that, a lot of you will be familiar with the layout we have here. Here's where you can submit either your plan check application or your permit application. Nothing has changed on this end as far as applicants submitting to us for these 2 items. If we click on the either one, if we click on the permit application, same sort of idea here. You can type in your address.
Yep.
There we go. And it'll give you a drop down with the address as well as the APN next to it to verify it. And you can click on your planning project. So if you had an approved planning project from Tyler's department, then you look over here and you can see your planning project. You'd be able to drop down and click on that and give us a description of what you're looking to do, as well as the type of permits you're looking to obtain. Here we did enter our applicant information as well as an email. Email is always crucial, as well as a phone number, so we can contact you when we are processing your permits. Click next and move to the next one. If the payor is the same as the applicant, you have the option to fill in those boxes pretty quickly here. Same thing with property owner. And here at this point, you have the option to select for your permit application if you are submitting as an owner builder or as a contractor. If you're submitted as a contractor, you'll want to click the no button. And here we'll ask you for contractor's email, license number, and phone number so that we can contact them and get them their permits. I think like Tyler mentioned, a lot of the steps and the processes on our side have not changed. This portal, like Yolanda mentioned in the beginning, is really a tool for applicants to see where they're at in our development process here in the city. So once you're able to confirm all the information here, you can click next. And yep, you can go ahead and submit it. And you'll get that confirmation number with planning, building safety, with any application you submit, you'll always get this confirmation number that you want to keep with you just to reference so we can check in on it if we ever need to. With the next item on our building safety list, we have the wrapped permits. So this is a new feature that we wanted to roll out with the with this new development portal. We wanted to make it an item where people can submit applications for easier permits that don't necessarily require other departments' approvals. This will only be a building safety approval for this permit. If we click on I'm not a robot and click next, we've unveiled this, or we're going to unveil this on April 22nd. You'll be able to submit these 2 types of permits so far, which is a seismic gas shutoff valve, as well as a water heater replacement. With clicking one of those, you'll be able to enter your description of work, which you can just test. And so we have the seismic shutoff valve, and then we also have the point of sale under there. If there's a sale of a home and the seismic shutoff valve needs to be installed, we put that little button there so you can let us know. Same thing as the permit application we had just looked at previously. With this rapid permit application, you're going to have the option to enter the applicant information. And if the applicant's the same as the payor, the owner, you'll be able to quickly click on these boxes to get you through this application. And here we get to the contractor page. If it is not an owner builder, you can enter a license number. And You can enter a license number as well as the contractor email, and I believe the phone number is what we require to at least get your permit application started. It will help us if you were to fill out the remainder of this application as far as the license number, license expiration dates, policy numbers. That'll definitely give us an extra boost to get your permit there a little bit quicker. And here is the rapid permit application. Again, if you have any regular permits, you'll want to click on the first permit application we walked through. With this rapid permit, again, it's only for seismic shutoff valves or water heater replacements.
The reason why we wanted to start with something like this, given the opportunity for the city to streamline those permits that do not require review, or if it's a sale of a property and needs to be expeditions and done right away, we thought this was the best step forward in helping the community with this type of permits.
And if I may also add, the reason for the rapid permits is, again, it's going to be a 2 business day turnaround for these 2 items. Just as a fun little fact for you. Yeah, we can go ahead and submit it. Again, we'll give you a confirmation number. You want to keep track of that in case you ever have questions, you want to follow up via phone call or email. We're still going to be available. City staff is still going to be available to answer any questions either over the counter, by phone, or email. Just this portal is a tool. We'd love for you guys to use it and enjoy it. But again, any questions, we are always here to help get you guys through the process. That last item you'll see on the bottom of the building safety tile is the plan check resubmittal. And this will make more sense as we start getting back to the first project tile. But just so you guys are aware, when you are ready to resubmit for a plan check, I think we can just hover over the plan check. Just when you are ready to resubmit for a plan check, you'll be able to click here and see what documents we've requested and be able to resubmit. But we will you guys will see more of what I mean once we get to this review projects portion here.
The review projects portion is the one that I want you guys to pay close attention. This will require a login number. And what it will do, it will connect you with all of the projects that you have submitted to the city. So we will go through those steps, and then Tyler will then take away the presentation, and then Andre will continue on that.
Great. Yes. So as Yolanda mentioned, each of you is going to have your own login information, and the homeowner as well can have their own login information, so they can track the progress too of their projects. So if you're an applicant and you have multiple projects going on throughout the city, this will be a good hub for all of the different projects you've submitted so far, whether it be in the planning phase or in the plan check phase. So once we get locked in, we can show you guys this new thing. This new part is we're really excited about. This is great for transparency, and also just good for you guys to be able to quickly review where your project's at, rather than having to check in with us all the time. So this is the projects tab that we're on now.
And the login that we have used is for an existing architect firm, local architect, Lester Tobias. So this connects the portal to all of the projects that he has submitted, and all of the plan checks and permit information will be here.
Yeah, so as you see, Lester has 64 projects with us, both in planning and plan check. So we can go review, see what he's got going on here. At the very top, there where it says total projects, once this loads, you can see your total project number, how many you've submitted with the city, how many you have in progress, and the documents due is if there's documents that the city has requested, it shows you how many we're waiting for there too. And that last tab at the top is fees due. So depending on how many projects that you owe fees, whether it be planning or plan check, you're going to see the total fees that are due for your projects there. In this tab that Lori's in here, the applicant projects, you can search different types. So you can either search by planning or plan check in the first one. You can search by case number. You can search by project address, which Lori is doing here. And you can see for this Boniface address that Lester has 7 projects with us right now, both some in planning and some in the plan check phase. It tells you the project description, what that project entails. It tells you the status of that project. So some are open, haven't received a planning approval. Some are okay for PPC. Some are approved and maybe in the construction phase and need final inspection. So you can quickly see where your status is there. You could see the requested tab is the requested documents and then submitted documents. So he's 17 for 17. And if there's any fees due there. And then if we click on the detail tab, so if I wanted to look at this ACDPA here, 2301 in detail, this will tell me where I'm at in this project in the planning phase. So here, he's incomplete with planning as of February 15th, 2024, and he's approved through all the other departments. This is live linked to our internal software that we use. So as we issue an incomplete letter and update our software on our end, you guys will see that live on your end. So as environmental health reviews come in, biology reviews come in, we're going to be updating our side of things, and you guys will be able to immediately see those things. If you guys wanted to quickly view what you're missing, there's a view action there on the side related to that department, and you'd be able to see their incomplete letters. So, you know, if you also still will get this email, but if you lost the email or just want to kind of have a one-stop shop to see where everything's at, you have those view tabs there to kind of quickly look at all the different referrals that have been issued.
Think of this portal as an extra tool for managing your projects. You are getting a window into the city's operations. A lot of the questions that we get from you is, what is the status of plan? When my project was routed. So we have now sharing with you our development data system. So you will be now in the know of everything. On the top of it, it shows even if it has a code enforcement, who's your planner. So it has this portal has a lot of information. In an hour, we're not going to be able to go through everything, but we want to show as many features as possible.
Yeah, so if you scroll down here and you need to submit documents to us, you can submit them here. If there's documents that are outstanding, they will show up here, and then you can submit them one by one here. Once you've submitted everything, you can do the submission complete button, and then someone on our submittal administrator for the planning process will review those documents and get back to you if anything was incomplete. And then also the last box there is for any outstanding fees. Lester doesn't owe any fees on this one, so good for him. But if you did owe any fees, you'd have the chance to see what you owed on this project, and you can request to pay those fees. So we still have the what's the term that we use for pay? Lori, help me out. I'm sorry. The Stripe invoice. Yeah. So if you do the request to pay feature, you're going to be sent a Stripe invoice and someone will be on the other end. But as Andre mentioned, the counter's still open. So you guys can still come to the counter during public counter hours and pay your fees there, you know, cash, check, whatever you have. And this will update through our portal here.
Before we move into the next item, Tyler, would you like to talk about the projects document and the ability to add additional documents when they have additional documents?
Yes, thank you, Yolanda. So the documents you'll see are the documents that we've been asking for, the documents associated with that project, the everyday documents. But there may be additional documents you want to submit. So if you're submitting for a site plan review or a variance, you might want to submit findings with your application. So you can always add an additional document, and it's going to ask you, there's a limit on the file size. We've increased that file size. I forget what it is, but it's a lot bigger than what it was. And so once you find that document, you can, upload any additional documents, not just the ones we are requesting. So, and we'll be able to kind of sift through those. And it's 100 megabytes. I think it was 50 before, if I recall correctly. And then it tells you what this is for here, what type of document type. We have a list of stuff, but if you can't find the one, then you can always just do a miscellaneous. But we do have a lot of doc types there, so you can kind of tell us what it is you're submitting. And then once you save document, then we'll be able to review it. If you needed to kind of look at your document like, oh, shoot, I submitted the wrong one, you can always download the document to see what it was you put in that tab, and it'll show you there. And that's pretty much it on the planning thing. The only thing I would like to
Let me
add is
spend a little more time in this, just because
Go
that
ahead.
was a lot of the questions that we got in person.
Okay.
When submitting a document, also setting expectations, if you go into status and the highlighted portion that is going right there, you see status as awaiting acceptance. That means one of our city staff members is going to be reviewing the application and the document that you submitted. Once the document becomes acceptable, then we will change it and you will see accepted. The expectations that it's not going to happen automatically. I again remind everybody, this is not a automated system. This is just another tool that was created by city staff using the resources that we have with the help of our software engineer. So we're just trying to do small steps towards being more streamlined and digitizing and giving you the ability of conducting your businesses with the city in electronic form. But this is just one option. We are, again, our counters are open. Our emails are you're still going to receive our emails. The way we operate is still very much the same way. So be aware and take advantage of this extra tool.
And if I can, oh, sorry, Tyler, if I can add on two things, I don't know if you were going to mention it, you probably were going there. I didn't know if we were going to leave this page, but the documents that you see there, when we ask for specific documents and you upload it, the system will automatically rename the file for you. So if you had a PDF file that was named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you put it under and you upload it to that grant deed line item underneath, it will automatically change the name to 28926 Boniface Drive, grant deed submittal 1. And if you were to upload the wrong document, the incorrect document, under that miscellaneous additional document we just uploaded right now, you can re-upload and overwrite what you had uploaded.
And Anna has a question. So Anna?
Yes, hi. Just a quick question. Where we can see the project progress in terms of review turnaround? Because we can track what is being submitted, but we don't see the timing. And that's the question that all our clients ask, all the property owners. Yeah.
That's a great question. I think I can answer this one. So basically here, and you see this, and as we mentioned before, this is live link with our internal software. So as we issue incomplete letters, it'll be linked right here. So the intake date you see there is the date that it was submitted. Now keep in mind, like Yolanda said, there's a user on the end of this and there's a back and forth. So the intake date is based on the day the submittal was completed, not pre-submittal. It's very important. So you may owe fees, you may owe certain documents. And so this intake date will be the date that those fees and documents were satisfied. And that will be the day one, if you will. And then the response date is the day that we issued a response to that submittal.
Thank you. Perfect.
It will also show you the list on department reviews. Who is reviewing it? The day that they have received it. And if you see that response date, that's the day that you get a correction list or in a letter from us. Also very critical and very important to remember the submittal number. If you see it at the beginning column, it shows a 2 or a 1. It could show a 3 or a 4 if you're on the 3rd or 4th submittals. This also includes our outside agencies. You can see there we have water district and fire department if your project in that description of work triggers that review.
Yeah. And the only thing I was going to say is the owners have their own login information as well. So for their house, they can see the project as well. If they wanted to give us documents or pay fees through this portal, they can. And your side of things will also be updated to reflect that. So it's very much more interactive.
Another critical item that I need to remind everybody, the email address that you are utilizing as the applicant needs to be the same email address that you are utilizing to log in. That's how we are able to extract all of the project numbers and give you that information.
So that's pretty much it for the planning. Is there anything else you want me to cover, Yolanda, on this? on this?
Quick links, how to, when a company has several people that has that might need information on just not one login, how to add.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
so if you have a main architecture firm and you wanted to add other staff to your specific login, you'll be able to add them as a user on your main login. This means they will have access to all the information that you have. As far as the projects that you review, they will be able to see the statuses of everything going on. They'll also be able to submit applications through your login.
And you do this through the quick links if you see it at the top of the page. And you add additional users, and that's how this has been also one of the questions that has resurfaced when we do our presentations.
And I think it's important to also note that if you will be working with another architect or engineer for one specific project, that you may not want to add them to this because, as mentioned, they will have access to all projects, not just that specific one that you're working on it with. And then another point to make here is for those of you that are working with multiple companies, you will want to create 2 separate logins for the portal, for our Malibu development portal system. We can go back to the dashboard. So now we've gone through that planning tile, we've gone through the building safety tile, so to know how to submit and what we can submit there. That review projects tile, we'll want to go back to that so that we can go over a little bit more in depth of what we can see here. Again, this is your main hub. This is your main page to see all your applications. And this includes your planning applications, your CDPs, your OCs, your APRs. But this also includes your plan check applications as well as the permit applications that you submit through that building safety tile. And so that first column there, that type, you're going to be able to see all 3 of these: planning, pre-plan check, plan check, and permit applications. So right now we search for plan check. So now we have our overall project 64. That number at the top, that 64, is everything included: planning, plan check, and permit applications that Lester has. If you wanted to show documents due, you just want to see which of these applications have documents due, you can click that button and it will just pop with that line item for that specific application. If you wanted to go more in depth, you would click on detail to see exactly where this specific application is. And you can see here we are in the submittal process. This was a pre-plan check. I'm sorry.
It's a plan.
It is a pre-plan check, right?
Plan check.
It is a plan check. Okay. Sorry, it's a little far from here. So we do have our submittal 1. You can see that it's in building safety review. It started its review, like Tyler said. That under review is the date that it made it to the plan checker. And then the status date that you see there is when we provided a response from the city back to you as the applicant. The status there at the end will show you approved, in review, corrections, and complete. And then we'll give you more information via email or through the portal. We'll be able to provide you what exactly we're looking for and maybe what documents we still need to get to our review. As you scroll down, you'll still be able to see here's a submittal 1. Here's the department. This is a project documents area, right? So you're in submittal 1. You'll be able to see what department is requesting which documents. And then you'll also be able to see the document names of what we're requesting. So you may see here submittal 1, building safety, submittal 1, public works, submittal 1, geology, all asking for different documents. And here's where you'd be able to upload them.
Before, we used to send you a link and you used to just submit through that link. A lot of the concerns and the frustration from all of you was the files were too big and we did not receive it. Or sometimes you were not, your concern was that did we receive it or we didn't receive it? How do I verify it? And now you're gonna have the opportunity to see, did you uploaded the right document? When the day that you uploaded the documents. And also it will tell you the status. Have we reviewed and accepted the document? So how this will work, it will prompt the either the plan checker or the counter technician or the planner to immediately go and see what has been submitted. When I say immediately, it will prompt that, but then know that many requests are coming every day. So we will also provide you with the time frame on when we're going to be doing the acceptance of documents, the process of pre-applications, the process of permitted, the process of requesting for a pay. So this will be a communication tool between you and the city. And also, if your homeowner needs more information, this is also a good way to share with them.
And then just wanted to also state that if you guys have probably already noticed the planning application with the plan check applications, as far as the layout on the portal, we try to keep it very simple and similar so that there's no change in how you guys will be submitting or what you guys will be looking at on the portal. As far as the statuses of the departments, that area looks the same. The project documents, it's going to be a similar process on how you're going to upload and which buttons you're going to hit. And then the fees are also very similar as to what you'd see on a planning application. So here, I don't think we got to see what fees may look like on the planning application we were looking at. So here you get a little bit more in-depth look at it. Each line item will specifically cover it'll cover different items from our fee schedule and what we're charging for the specific review. You will see the fee for each type of item and the quantity we've charged, as well as the total fee. And then if you still, like Tyler mentioned, you want to come to the counter, you still want to pay by check, you want to mail in a check, you are more than welcome to still do that. If you wanted to pay online, all you would do is hit that request to pay button, which will send an email to a permit tech to send you a stripe through your portal. And where you'll see that button is right at action on the right side.
Over here.
You'll see a blue button pop up there with a little dollar sign, and then click on that, it'll take you to a Stripe invoice.
Again, this is also another of the questions that we get very often, the breakdown of the fees of how much this department charge for. So now this is really connected to our fee schedule and our database. So you are getting a complete breakdown of your totals on any invoices. Making it more transparent, but also easier to share with your applicants or with your homeowners.
Yeah, if we can go back to the home tab. So now we've gone through those main top 3 tiles there.
We preview one of the application that has department reviews, and that way they can see when it was corrections and
Yeah. So I think we have one under 30103. We have those.
I want to give you the opportunity to see the status of plan check on the building portion side. How do that looks, and how you guys can get information, and also for the type of corrections or in review or where it is a project is.
So for a big project like a new single family residence, a lot of departments are required for those types of reviews. So if we're to look at this example and see under this department review status, you'll be able to see the first part is the submittal number and where each department's at as far as their submittals go. But you'll also be able to see which departments we have listed, and this is something we check off on our end in the database as far as which departments do require review. So that is all live information that we are fixing on our end that you will see through the portal. The under review status is when it got to the reviewer, when we received the documents, and when it got added to the reviewer's queue. That status date that you'll see on there is when we have responded, or that department has responded to the applicant. And that status at the end, you will see corrections in review, approved. If for LA County Fire, if we see not yet received, that's just we need their approval document. If you were to upload it through the portal under the project documents tab below, we'll be able to grab that, add it to our files, and we can change your status on our end, manually input it and add the date that we received your approval document.
The other thing that I want to bring to your attention, and this is something that sometimes you don't know, and just talking about the building enforcement section. When you have a project that it starts with a TN, it goes to the outside consultant called True North. If you see a project that has the letters start with IPC, it's a plan check that is being doing in-house. So it's in-house plan check. If you see the project starts with the letter BB, it goes to the other outside consultant called a Bureau of Veritas. So that's sometimes a question of who's my plan check, or Yolanda, did you leave it in-house for review? You will be able to double check who has the project. And I'm just talking about the building and safety portion for the plan check. Now,
So now we've gone through our top 3 building tiles there. The bottom 3 tiles, and I know Tyler mentioned this in the beginning, a lot of these tiles you'll be able to use without a login. You can't obviously review projects without a login. You will need to register and create a login for that. Applications to submit for the planning and the building safety tiles, you will be able to submit applications. However, you won't have any statuses, right? So if you were to submit a new application to us, everything would be as it is current day today. Everything will be done on our end still, and emails and phone calls can still be done. So you can still submit applications without logging in. The bottom left portion here, this tile that we have for building permits are a public record that are available to anyone in the public. So what we did is from our on-base system, we separated out the building permit search and made that its own tile. We do receive a lot of questions of how can I get my permit? Where can I see my permit? I see a project being constructed. I want to know if they have permits. You can search any address in here. Anyone can search any address and see what permits have been issued.
it also gives you the history of the project. So if you're a new architect that is taking on a new project and you want to see what it has permit and what doesn't have permits, it gives you the ability to come in here against a centralized page in which you can submit an application to planning, see if they have a permit or what type of permits they have, submit an application to building and safety. So it gives you the ability to do different operations, so we can help you with streamlining the process.
And then on here, you'll have your permit numbers, a description of your permits, see the status, the date it was finalized, if it has been finalized. And then you'll also get that status at the end, right? Finalized, issued, expired. It'll give you all that information without having to click through OnBase. You can just click on this tile to specifically look at permits. We can go back to.
So every time you go back to the homepage, there's a little house that take you back to the dashboard. So that is critical. That's how you come back every time. So we are happy about this. And now you want to talk about building inspections?
Yeah, so that next tile on the bottom middle portion is for building inspections. I'm going to start with that schedule inspection button first. Nothing about this button here has changed. We've had online inspection requests. It's available to the public and for you guys. It's the same process. You type in your address, verify your APN, and then most likely contractors or any applicants can submit for it. You put your name, your email, and then your preference on your date and time, and you've added your notes. You're requesting AM or PM. So nothing really here has changed. If you would like to still email the inspectors or give them a phone call as far as changing inspections, canceling, or just need some more information, we are still available. They will still be available to help you out that way as well. So if we can go back to the homepage.
Nope. All right.
So the schedule inspection, again, nothing there has changed. The really cool feature we have in here now is your inspection status. So if you, again, these are projects that you as the applicant, the user that's logged in, you'll be able to see only your projects and your inspections. If you were to type in a parcel address, so we can go, I think it was 591.
Oh, do you want to do the 591?
Either one, yeah.
Also, this is when you enter your address, every address is tied to a parcel number. So that way we make sure that everything is correct and you have that location of the parcel here within the city limits.
So once you click on this page, you'll be able to see past inspections that have been scheduled. You'll also be able to see future inspections. The 4 that we have in here right now are all past, but you can see the confirmation number at the left. So when you schedule your inspection, that confirmation number you get at the end when you schedule it is the same one you'll see in the left there. You can see the inspection date and when it is scheduled for. And again, future inspections, you will have those shown up there. They just won't have that time at the end. That time window is set by the inspectors the same way. In the mornings when they come in before they head out on their routes, they will give you that time window. So that top one is a 3-hour time window from 11 to 2. Other information to note here is the type of inspection that you called for will also be shown here, as well as the permits that you checked off on your inspection request will also be shown on this page here. Another cool feature is you'll be able to see the status of the inspection. So when the inspector comes back to the city, enters the information in the database, again, it's all live information that's fed from there. You'll be able to see if your inspection was approved, if there was a correction notice, if the inspector noted that maybe the applicant or contractor wasn't ready, they'll put a not ready status. So this is a new feature that will help you guys see where you're at as well.
With the scheduling inspections, you will also, again, you will also get that phone call from the city staff, letting you know, hey, our inspector is going to be there between 11 and 2. You will also get an email. So again, this is an extra tool where you can verify at what time your inspection is going to be performed.
Yeah, we'll go back to that homepage.
And you want to tell them they can also get to it.
Oh, yeah, so you either have the home button or through the quick links, you can also click on the dashboard to get back to the home page there. So now the last tile, again, one that you guys might be familiar with. It's our public document search. This link here is going to take us directly to OnBase. So instead of spending time kind of going through the Malibu City website, this portal will have OnBase essentially ready for you to search through for any documents that are available to the public. Any documents that are not, again, you would still need to submit your public records request, and staff will work on the back end on getting that information for you. So building permits as well as geo files, I believe, are in there. Any documents that are in OnBase, you'll be able to click that button, one centralized location for you guys to find out more property information.
So those are the 6 tiles that will provide you with a lot of information. This is the first step towards some more streamlined processes, especially for our city. This does not take away that the city is currently in talks to possibly get a software system, permitting system, but that takes time to implement. Our assistant city manager mentioned that possibly this takes between 2 to 2 years. So this is in the middle of or the transition and how we get there. For us, it was very important to unveil this as soon as possible, because this is what we're hearing from you, the community. We need something that is more efficient and can help you and also help city staff to do a better job for that community. So the intent of the many hours, and it was 5 months of meetings and strategizing and different people getting involved, which is a small group of people. This is a wonderful project that we want to share with the community. Again, it will go live on May 22nd, April 22nd. So thank you, Lori. And so we are excited about it. One new thing that is coming up that is not in here, the city is also working with Bluebeam, new software for doing plan check implementation. And we're excited. We're getting training for that. We already have the licenses. So staff is getting trained, and we are hoping and praying that we're more efficient, and we were able to do our review in one project, in one plan check. And so everybody can review. So that's very critical for us, and important that we do a good job for the community. The other item that is coming up is, as many of you that work in other jurisdictions, the state of California has gone towards having solar reviews done through an app. Our city will need to be compliant by September of this year. We already have secured a grant by the state of California and are looking into the implementation of that. That will be late September, but this will also be added to the styles in the way that you can submit an application through Building and Safety to get a solar review through that app. So more things are to come. Again, this is the third meeting that we do for our outside people that come and work with us in hand. It was very important for us to share all this information with you because you are the external users. So as we go through all of this and it comes live, we welcome your feedback. Again, it's not a perfect system, but we wanted to share with you. This is a big improvement with what we had before. So far, we have received multiple people there with positive feedback and excited about us going live on this. We are also creating a tutorial for those that will need a little more information on it. And on Monday, 22nd, I'll be also doing a presentation at the City Council. So you guys have any questions? I know it's a lot of information and we try to pack everything within an hour. So we now open for any questions, any comments, and also if you enjoy the new portal that is coming out, please give feedback to our city manager. Yes.
I know for some of you that may have joined us late here, we have recorded this entire meeting and it will be available so you guys can see the process of this development portal and what we put together. It will be available for you to view.
Andre, I have a question.
Mhm.
Hi, it's Lena.
Hi, Lena.
Hey, everyone. Hi, Yolanda. Thank you. This is amazing. And I'm sorry I joined at the end or halfway through.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you. I rushed to get back to my office in time. Is the pre-submittal questionnaire also within that? I missed in case you went over that, but the pre-submittal process for projects?
Is this for the planning?
Yeah, you know how right now you make a request on the portal and then they send you a pre-submittal questionnaire, you fill that in, and then you send it back, and I think Marina reviews it and determines whether it's an OC, an APR, or what level, and then sends another email with more documentation required. So is that also on that portal right now?
So Lena, so when you start a new application, it's similar to what you do now. You're going to go through a process of giving us all your information. And then at the very end, you'll get a confirmation number that you've initiated the pre-submittal process. And then our submittal administrator, which still is Marina, will be in contact with you similar to how it is today.
Okay, so it's in that tab, the planning tab. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
This is Dan. Thank you very much for sharing this and all the work. Having the information in one place here is going to be amazing. So thank you. To that end, like we have a project where it's been submitted different applicants over a long period of time. If we add the different applicants in as additional users, will it pull all of that together kind of in the one login, or is that something that need to work with city staff if there's a project submitted
Right.
under a different user?
So for that instance, you wouldn't want to use the additional users because then they would have access to all of your projects.
Okay.
But we are planning on adding a feature where you can ask for a co-applicant, and then that person can register and they would be able to see That, yeah, just that specific project, if they were
Okay.
registered as a co-applicant on that project.
It is. Okay. And if there's projects that we've submitted, like our company's had a different email address. So if we've submitted it under 2 different email addresses, is that something we can work kind of with staff to change on your end so it can all show up together?
You could do that, or that would be a good example of using that add additional users, right? Because you could put both your emails under one,
Perfect.
as long as you
Okay.
don't mind if both of those emails are associated with all of your projects.
Got it.
But this
Okay,
is a
thank you.
very manual tool, so if there is anything that we can improve or things that you don't see, please reach out to us. I think that is important for us to disclaim that in the back end, there's a lot of manual work is still gonna happen.
Got it. Will do. Well, thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If not, let's conclude our presentation. We thank you. We're excited about this. Thank you for joining us today. Yesterday, we have 17 companies joining us. This afternoon, were 12 of your companies. And then there were 3 beta testing. So we are doing excellent trying to get the word out there and for you guys to know about this amazing portal that we're about to unveil. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
Yolanda.
Everybody.
Thank you, everyone.